Hello everyone, this is Juan Bloisi with Washington Interpreters, and today I'm going to expose the contract update betrayal between WFSE and the SOSi company to L&I Interpreters and what you can do about it. Please watch this entire video because this is going to be bigger than you think and you need to know all of these details. Because SOSi has started union dues and worker compensation premium deductions, and you need to know how they impose the premium deductions while protecting themselves at the same time. This is all unfolding while many interpreters like Estrella Valenzuela Ramos have stopped taking L&I appointments with SOSi due to extremely delayed payments, as shown on the screen here, a problem that persists with the SOSi company even a year after they took over the distribution of appointments for L&I. But before we get into the SOSi and WFSE union betrayal, I want you to see how a group of courageous interpreters decided to respond to the worker compensation deductions imposed by L&I and WFSE. This is an email from Rose Ramos, an L&I interpreter from the Yakima area, in response to the SOSi email announcement regarding deductions and union dues. Rose begins here by stating that she's neither an employee nor a union member. That's right, we're independent contractors and cannot be imposed these things as if we were employees. Please remember to pause this video at any time to read the information on the screen. Now let's continue. Rose says here, I'm held accountable as an employee when I do not receive the benefits of an employee, but on the other hand, I'm being reprimanded as an independent contractor. You as a scheduling system are failing to perform the contractual obligations and undermining the very essence of the agreement, making it impossible for the other party to obtain the benefit intended from the contract. Both parties signed the contract before the system was implemented on June 17th, 2024 that you breached since day one. It's supposed to be a fair scheduling system and it's not. Deductions should be paused until the issues are resolved within the scheduling system. And I actually agree with this, but you and I know this is not going to happen, right? But let's continue. Rose continues to say here, I don't have recollection of signing anything related to this matter. She would be right. Please send me a copy with my signature agreeing to it. We're independent contractors and it should be up to us to enroll in any workers' compensation insurance or union. More of this as we read this email. In the state of Washington, union membership is completely voluntary. Interpreters cannot be forced to join or pay dues. And she's also right about it. She continues to say, I did not consent to be part of any union or workers' compensation insurance. And Rose comes here with the heat. She says, please focus your time and attention on fixing your system to be more efficient so it's not causing in financial loss and has caused lack of sleep, so much stress and anxiety to my personal health. And hey, so many interpreters are experiencing these things, especially when they cannot pay their bills because of extreme delayed payments, right? Time after time, complaints of all kinds have been submitted by interpreters without any positive response to unresolved issues. For example, and Rose is highlighting many examples here, but look at this. Monopolizing appointments, lack of on-time payments, late cancellation, no-shows, HIPAA violations, interpreters taking their kids to work. I cannot believe this is happening. Reach out to clinics to confirm information. Orthopedics Northwest, ARC Physical Therapy, Creekside Physical Therapy. This is all the Yakima clinics that time after time had complained to other interpreters about this specific interpreter, and no action has been taken from anyone. No action has been taken from anyone. This is crazy. On the spot app inefficiency, of course, we don't have the reject button on the app on the spot that you agreed to have in place shortly after signing the contract. And that's right, more than a year after they took over, we still do not have a reject button. You cannot make this up. And guys, I want you to please read all of these things, but I'm going to focus on a few details right here, like appointments dropped at inappropriate times, early morning, late night. You know how it is. Not responding to emails and phone calls, the lack of information and training from customer service, and not having someone assigned on call for after hours. That's true. Seeing other interpreters' assignments, it's a HIPAA violation. Yeah, the moment you see another interpreter's assignment, especially when he has patient's private information, that's a problem right there. Appointments appearing and disappearing on the portal, not reaching out shortly after returning appointments. System has not been updated for interpreters to take more than 8 hours a day. All of these things I have been talking about, and I'm so glad that Rose and many other courageous interpreters are speaking up about this. But look at this one, allowing uncertified interpreters to take our jobs in Yakima location, agencies covering L&I appointments with non-certified interpreters. Multi-Care Memorial Hospital specifically, complaints were accurately done through Multi-Care Interpreters Management, Angelina Garcia, and nothing has been changed. Now, this is unbelievable. Where is the supposed union representing interpreters, and what are they doing about this? Please explain in detail what actions you have taken and what actions are you taking moving forward to fix the unresolved issues mentioned above and a time frame in a timely manner. Rose concludes her email saying, here you have 10 business days from the date of this notification to submit a written response. If necessary, I will look into legal counsel. Bravo for you, Rose. This is great. And as you can see right here, this is signed by other interpreters. And I'm so proud of them. Whatever happens to this email and to this claim, I am so glad that interpreters are waking up and speaking out about these issues without any fear, because we don't have to be afraid to speak out and demand our rights to be taken seriously. Now, that was a great email from Rose, and I am so proud of her and the other interpreters signing at the bottom of that email, because that's what you're supposed to do. You're supposed to be speaking out about these issues without being afraid and actually demand your rights to be respected. Now, I'm going to show you how the WFSE Union and SOSi colluded together to betray you, okay, and impose these deductions so you cannot do anything about it. This is going to be a shocker. Let's continue. This is an email sent by the SOSi company on July 14th, a few days ago. They're talking about updates and new functions such as payment schedule changes to self-insured appointments, daily work hour limit removal, the deductions, and more. SOSi is saying here they will no longer process weekly payments to interpreters for self-insured appointments, supposedly to streamline the process. I believe this will result in more delayed payments for interpreters, but we'll see. Here you can see L&I finally decided to remove the 8-hour daily cap for interpreters. This is something that Watchdog Interpreters has been advocating for since 2020 and was included in our House Bill 2032 earlier this year. I am glad that L&I finally recognized our advocacy, and now L&I interpreters are allowed to work unlimited appointments daily. It was about time, guys. Now, SOSi is saying the state of Washington requires the SOSi company to provide workers' compensation coverage for interpreters. This is something that I discussed in my last video where I highlighted how we can be exempt if we meet the state's criteria. But SOSi would have to request interpreters to be exempt. I said that. However, SOSi is saying here that the state has determined interpreters are not exempt. See, I do not believe this, as I would like to see proof that the state said so. We need to see how they supposedly reached that conclusion. But here's the betrayal from WFSE. SOSi is saying here that on July 1st, 2025, a new section was, quote-unquote, administratively added to the LIP services schedule under your independent contractual agreement. I've never heard of that, right? That's Section L, incorporating provisions from the collective bargaining agreement between WFSE and L&I. You can read the provisions here, including the union dues deductions and worker compensation premiums. However, provision number 4, I want you to pay attention to this, says here that interpreters agree to hold SOSi and L&I harmless from any deduction-related claims. You know what that means? It means that SOSi and L&I are now legally protected from any lawsuits regarding deductions. Let me ask you something. Did you receive a call from the WFSE union asking you if you had agreed to any of this? Once again, WFSE betrayed interpreters and imposed more changes to our working conditions to protect the state without your consent. That's the section added explaining the deductions there if you want to read it. Go ahead and do it now if you want to. And here it is, clear as day. This is the provision where it clearly says that both L&I and SOSi are protected from any lawsuits regarding union dues or worker compensation deductions. Time after time, I have proven to you how the WFSE union cares more about protecting L&I than improving your working conditions. I mean, how many times do you have to see this? This is the ultimate betrayal. In closing, I want to tell you this. This shouldn't be a surprise to any of us, right? Like, we have talked about this so many times before. We had 3 elections. We told people do not vote for WFSE. And what happens is that when you vote for a union, unfortunately, you are forfeiting some of your individual rights to do these things. See, the WFSE union now represents you. Technically, they didn't have to call you, right, to ask you if you wanted to do that because you voted for them to make these decisions. However, you voted for them to represent you, your interests, your working conditions, not the interests of the state, not L&I's interests, not SOSi interests. If you voted for WFSE, you didn't vote for them to protect L&I, right? And if they were going to do that, at least they would have had the decency to call you and ask you, do you want to sign this so L&I and SOSi are protected from any lawsuits from interpreters? But no, they didn't do that. So now you have worker compensation premiums imposed on you and you cannot even sue. I mean, you can sue. I don't believe this is valid, but you are supposedly agreeing to this because WFSE, representing interpreters, says that you agreed to this. This is a mess. But there is one thing you can do in the meantime while we have elections, hopefully, to decertify the WFSE union and get rid of them for good. What you can do in the meantime is not pay union dues, and this is how you do it. Because you have the right to opt out of WFSE and stop paying union dues. So right now, go to optouttoday.com/WFSE1671 to do so and keep your hard-earned money. See you in the next one.